Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the Cucco Attack. I am Chad Hembrock. With me, as always,
Patrick Hughes.
This is the second take of that intro because I forgot about myself. Anyway, we have a jam-packed episode today. We're going to try to make this short, but you guys know how that goes if you've listened to us in the past.
Yeah, we usually don't record this soon after a previous episode. I know we just had the Mario kind of podcast episode, but there's just too much stuff we need to talk about. We can't wait any longer.
We've had massive announcements from all three major companies, so figure we should at least just start going over this
and
stuff.
Then some.
Yeah, so I guess we'll get right into it. What have you been playing, Patrick?
Well, should we start with what we've both been playing, or
sure.
what we each? Because obviously, as of this recording, Mario 3D All-Stars has come out, and we are both diving very strong into it as of this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. So today is September 20th that we're recording this. The game came out 2 days ago. We did a little live stream for about an hour and a half on Friday night. Patrick was playing Mario Galaxy. I was playing Mario Sunshine. So that's on our YouTube channel if you want to check that out. For whatever reason, YouTube cut the last 20 minutes of the stream. But regardless, it's nothing special. It's just us playing and me dying multiple times in Sunshine. but 3D All-Stars. How are you feeling about it?
I am digging it so far. It looks super clean and crisp is my first impression. Yeah. Just how bright and colorful all the games look. I made sure to try a little bit of each game before focusing all my attention on Mario Galaxy because it's the best.
I've done nothing. I haven't played Galaxy yet, but I've played most I've played is N64, Mario 64. I've got I think I have 15 shines in Sunshine, and then I have 30. I just got 32 stars in Mario 64 tonight. So I haven't played much other than I played a little bit, with you on Friday night, and then I played for maybe half an hour last night, and then a little bit today, but not much. I've been really busy with stuff around the house, so
yeah, it sounds like yeah, and I have already beat Mario Galaxy, but nice. That's only half the stars so far, so I'm still working to finish that up. I'll say for Mario Galaxy, the controls, it takes a little bit of getting used to with the new pointer control, since it's not like a Wii remote anymore and a sensor bar. It's just kind of like the gyro, and I'm playing with the Joy-Con because it's as close as I can feel for muscle memory playing old school. But I have grown to like these new controls a lot after you do get used to it, because it does get off center fairly easily, but all you do is click the R button and it recenters. And so I like that aspect in that I can play in any kind of position I want. I can relax and be this is where the center is, even though I'm pointing in a completely opposite direction, and be yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. So like you said, I think the first game I fired up was Mario 64, and I thought the colors pop right off the screen. Immediately when I fired it up, I was like, wow, this looks really crisp. I played the first level and got all 6 stars in the first world there. Bomb Hill, Battlefield, whatever it is. But I noticed right away, I was nobody can complain about this game. It's never looked this crisp and clear. It looks so good. There's definitely some room for improvement, of course. They showed off in the trailers that the images for the Boo and the Ghost House and stuff like that were completely re-rendered.
And that right there is night and day.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff like that throughout the game. So your HUD icons look really sharp and stand out. The text looks great. It's not, because even in the N64 original release, the text was pixelated. It was really hard to read it. Now it's really smooth. It looks great. Those two fixes alone just help so much with the game. But the little visual enhancements, like when you race the Koopa to the top of the hill, the flag has the Koopa shell on it, and that Koopa shell like pops off that flag. The one thing that I noticed right away when I played it was the bomb, the picture of the bomb over the cannon. It was still really blurry, so it's like they only up-resed a few photos. It wasn't like everything got an up-res. So that was just one that immediately stood out. I was like, oh, they didn't fix that one at all. But
stands out a little more when they start cleaning up other aspects.
Yeah, well, that one just, it's kind of weird that you'd think they would have done that one, and the reason why I say that is because when you unlock a bomb or a cannon, it like zooms in on it. You'd think they would have cleared that one up, because it's like you're going to see that in every single stage where you unlock a cannon. So it's kind of weird that was the one that got missed out on. But again, that's so minor. It doesn't affect the game at all. But it is nice to see those other ones just pop out. That was my very first take on the game when I fired it up. The controls, it feels like Mario 64. Like I've been playing that game, where how old is this? 24 years now is how old that game is. So it just it's the same game. It's never looked this good without like unofficial mods and stuff, and even those I don't think look good in my opinion.
And as much as I wanted like a remaster of Mario 64 or like new kind of art or something, like I'll admit I got as far as playing the first Bowser. That's as much as I played. I'm like, yeah, I love me a chunky Bowser still. I love how he's still very polygonal and like old school. It's like he looks so good.
I just beat that when we were
there's something about
when we were talking tonight before recording. So there are 32 stars before you fight Bowser for the first time if you just want to get everything. So that's where I'm at the moment. Well, I'm missing one actually, so there should be 33 because I need the Metal Mario so I can go into the jet stream and Jolly Roger Bet. But I don't. Right. Yeah,
but you have to go into the basement to get
correct.
that.
So that'll be next. So there are a little more that I need to do still. But talk about Sunshine a little bit. Neither one of us has really talked about that. I played that, like I said, on Friday night, and it's Sunshine. It's very frustrating. One of the biggest complaints for me with Sunshine, and it's always been this, is Mario, just the way he controls. He's very like, I don't even know the word of it. It's tight, but it's like too tight. Like if I make if I go left, I'm like, oh, I need to go right. He immediately like kick turns. So it feels like it's very responsive, but like way more responsive than the other games.
He has like more weight to him than like other Mario
games. There's something about it that just throws me off with his physics, because I struggle, and that's and the levels without flood, or when you lose flood on the Secret of X levels, and all the stages. When you're jumping those blocks, I mean, that's when it really gets me, because like if I start going left right too fast, I'll start flipping by like mistake, and when I do that, it just completely ruins the game for me, and I die and I get frustrated. I mean, that's always been the case with that game, and I've never beaten that game pretty much because of those secret levels. Just from getting so frustrated when I don't want to play the game anymore. But I'm fighting through it. The game looks gorgeous. It's in widescreen. Everything pops, very colorful.
Seeing that title screen pop up so bright and colorful, it's just
everything looks
so
great.
Good.
The cutscenes, they look better because I've recently played it on my Wii, upscaled to 1080, and it's so pixelated. Like when you watch it, it's like really, really bad, getting blown up. But they definitely do look better. They said they're cropped. I don't really notice that it's cropped. I mean, I believe it's cropped. I'm not gonna say it's not. But it doesn't take away from it. I don't think. Like nothing looks weird, because those cutscenes looked weird anyway. Like
I like. No one really ever cared or remembered the cutscenes.
Well, because
it's all about getting to the Mario game.
Like the voice acting is pointless, and like I don't know, the whole story. It's like, just tell me the story through the game.
Yeah.
I don't need to have a cutscene telling me the story. What's going on?
The only story I ever enjoyed was Rosalina's storybook in Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's good though. I mean, it's fun. I've been playing it. I got really frustrated on the secret levels, like I said. And one thing I did test though was using a GameCube controller.
Oh, that's right. We did test
with the Wii U adapter. And while the controller will work, you are missing buttons, so you cannot actually play the game. And the most important of those buttons that was missing was the ground pound. So you could probably change your. Oh no, you can't. You can't change your control mappings.
You couldn't custom change the control.
Yeah, you can't do control mappings for GameCube controllers hooked up to the Switch through the system menu. So you're pretty much SOL unless there's something I'm missing. So I don't know. Unless you have like one of those custom GameCube Joy-Cons, you're probably SOL.
Yeah. And that's like the one thing I noticed with Sunshine I'll probably take a little getting used to is I see that X symbol and my mind instantly goes to the GameCube, how it was on the right, and now I have to like press the button on top, and it's gonna take a little getting used to.
I think so. The big thing that I complained about with this game was not being able to or having inverted camera options when you control FLUDD. And what's funny about that is I hated it. I always complained about it, and I don't remember it being that way when the game first came out. But I've gone back to it a few times before this collection came out, and as soon as I fire it in, I'm like, oh my god, I can't play this game. I'm like running all over the place. I'm like running left when I should go right, and I can't control myself. But now that I'm playing it with controls that like feel good, I start running and everything's great. I'm like, oh, this feels awesome. But then when I go to shoot FLUDD first person, I always go down. Every single time I always hit the wrong button. It's like there's something ingrained in me that's like inverted and I can't control it. So it's kind of funny that I complained about it for the longest time, but yet I'm struggling with it a little bit. So
is it better? Is it?
Yeah, it's like a weird mix. There's something weird with me because I don't know. It's like muscle memory, I guess, from playing that all these years ago. So, I mean that's pretty much it as far as
those are pretty much just in first impressions so far.
I mean, if you've played those games, it's those games. There's not much to really say. You know, I always thought it'd be really cool if somebody discovered some secret to unlock Galaxy 2, just because that would be amazing. But
it was that day one patch, but it was nothing to do with that.
Yeah, but I don't see any of that. Obviously, somebody would have already found that by now.
Yeah, I still find it so weird that they use the Mario Galaxy 2 fanfare for the title screen. Though it's just so salty.
Yeah. So, but the game's you know, play it. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably have it. The game is sold out pretty much everywhere. I actually,
but they'll be restocking.
I went to Walmart yesterday to pick up some stuff, and I went down the video game aisle and just to see if it was there, and there was like 3 rows for it, and they were all gone. So
there's what? How many months here?
Yeah.
6 months still to get it.
Yeah.
Like
and
the shelves will get restocked.
And majority, I'm telling you, like multiple of those are probably sitting in people's stash. They're gonna sell it as soon as they say it's out of print. People are gonna try to start selling it. So
I'm sure, but avoid the scalpers, people. You can definitely get it if you want it.
And you can always get it digitally. I know they're removing it.
And then
they're removing it in the same day, which is really weird. But if you want it, you have 6 months to buy digitally. There's really no excuse for not buying it if it's something you want. Like I don't know. That's if you want it, you can get it.
When are they removing it again?
March 31st, which is the end of the fiscal year for Nintendo, which is kind of weird.
Okay.
So we can.
I was about to say that might lead into that theory that we talked about.
Yeah,
later.
We'll speculate on that a little later here. So, so other than Mario 3D, I mean, unless you have anything else to say.
That's probably all for Mario 3D All Stars.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. So other than that, Patrick and I have been playing Fenyx Wright Justice for All with our buddy. Well, I've been playing, they've been watching, and we've all been talking about the cases going on.
We chime in our thoughts.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So Justice for All is the second game in the series. We beat Ace Attorney. We played the DLC. So now we're playing this one, and it's fun. The first case was pretty wild, and now we're on the second case, which has to do with a circus and a magician and.
I think you're actually on the third.
That is the third case. You're right.
Yeah,
you are correct.
Case was the car crash and yeah.
So yeah, we're on the third case, but it's fun. We're kind of confused on this third one so far because I think we just did day one and we're just like, what is going on? Like we don't even know where to begin, and it just seems like that compared to everything else we've done so far. But the Fenyx Wright games are great. I mean, it's like reading a book. Which I hate reading, but it's like.
But something with the combination of the animation and the music in this game, it just gets you really.
Well, the music
experience.
Is better in the first one. The music is so much better in the first one. It gets you pumped, which it still has some of that, but it's not as good.
They did change a bit of the music in the second one, which is a little less pumping.
Yeah, but still, there's like the dialogue is. Awesome, like it's really good.
There's a cool new mechanic in the second game with investigations that now you can like try to break people's lives with the Cyclops.
And you have profiles you can present of all the people you meet throughout the game or throughout the case. So cases seem to take a little longer. You have a lot more evidence to work with, a lot more stuff you can present to people. So we've probably played, I don't know, 7 to 10 hours so far, I think, of this one. Something like that. I think my play count was like 7. That's what I saw. We're usually on for about an hour to 2 every night playing it. So, but no, it's a lot of fun. So if you haven't played Fenyx Wright games, check them out. I haven't played them before, and I've slept on them because they're really fun. They're a lot of fun. So definitely check them out.
Yes.
So what are you playing by yourself, Patrick? Because that's pretty much all I'm playing is Fenyx Wright with you guys, Mario, and a handful of Tetris 99 as usual.
And as always, Tetris 99. Yeah.
Gotta play it right now. No.
You got in what, like 6th place recently?
I got in 6th place the other day. Yeah. And I got into. No, I guess it was just 6th. I thought I got one with 4th, but no, I got 6th. For sure.
Okay.
Yes. It was crazy too because I was doing so good, and then like all of a sudden it was just like death, instant death. So,
but yeah, what else have I been playing? I'm still playing Ring Fit Adventure. I think I'm in like 15 or 16 days in my exercise routine now. So, I gotta say I'm really actually enjoying this game a lot more than I anticipated. I think what's surprising me is like how the experience is kept fresh every day. Like there's always like in adventure mode a new level or a new goal that's kind of fun to look forward to. Like, oh, I'm gonna get this closer here to fighting that buff dragon, or here's a fitness master I gotta go help over here. This person needs a smoothie. Okay, so there's like interesting little goals that you have something to look forward to with each exercise that you do. And I like how they're also implementing like new types of exercises into your routine by like you leveled up, here's a new move you can use, it does more damage, so obviously you're going to want to do it, but it's obviously also tougher, so they're like slowly building the difficulty of the exercises as you progress in a very kind of like gamified way. So you're like, oh, I need this powerful yellow move to get through this area here because there's lots of yellow monsters. So, and those are all like your ab workouts.
Yeah, that's what I need to work on. I've got the Dr. Pepper diet, and been making a lot of pizza at home, and it's been awesome. So yeah, I really should. I really should get into this game, or at least start playing Beat Saber again to just start getting some sort of activity.
That would be good too.
Yeah, because winter's coming and things are probably gonna get worse before they get better. So
it'll be a little cold up there. You can go outside and skateboard.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's cool, dude. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it. It makes me want to get it. I do want to check it out. There's still a part of me that thinks I'll get it and never touch it again. So I don't know.
It is tricky, like trying to like work a time in for it. That's the one thing, like that just you gotta find time to do it. But I'm enjoying it so far. And then recently I picked up Paper Mario Origami King because I just wanted to spend the rest of my store credit I had at this game store before, or if they should ever go out of business. So I was like, what can I spend it on? All right, I guess I've been intrigued about Paper Mario.
Another one of our local shops got that in today, and I was like eyeing it, like, because I think I have like $10 credit there too. So it's like, should I just go get that? I don't know, because I've watched you play it, like, you know, and
I gotta say I'm also enjoying that more than I expected.
I think the only thing I don't like when I see you play is the boss battles, because they just look so involved with all. I mean, I'm sure if I play it, I'll figure it out. But just watching you play,
they're not too bad. Like, their one fault is that they take a long time to beat, and they kind of require a little bit of trial and error. Like, you're like, what do I do? And you try something and like, oh, that didn't work, and you're like, oh shoot, now I got really hurt. All right. But if you're careful, like, you can beat them without dying. At least so far. I'm only like 2 chapters in the game and I haven't really had any game overs, so it just kind of requires being careful and like figuring it out. And they've been pretty fun so far. I like little puzzle elements, like, all right, I think I understand what you have to do here and now, and then you kind of like, once you figure it out and line it all up, and then you kind of take down the boss really quickly. So
I enjoyed the just the levels you've been playing. Like, you were in that like temple or something, and it was very Zelda-esque. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, the water temple.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. That was like cool, and the game looks gorgeous. Like, just the graphics and like just everything's bright and it just looks really,
everything
really
pops
good.
So much.
It's kind of like Yoshi's Crafted World in that aspect. Like everything's just shiny and looks really, really clean and really vivid. Which
textures and everything just
it made me want to play it more. I mean, but even then, before Origami King came out, the only Paper Mario I'd played was Super, and then now that I played Paper Mario on N64 and beat that, I really enjoyed that one. So, and then I played the intro of Thousand Year Door, and I was really getting into that too.
That's the one you should play.
I stopped for now because I'm not going to play that until we finish the Fenyx Wright, at least the second one.
Right.
Maybe we'll beat the third one, and then I'll think about getting a 1,000 Year Door.
Yeah. So from what I've played so far of Origami King, I can definitely tell that it's not going to top like my favorite Paper Mario games. Like, those first 2 Paper Mario games are still my all-time favorite. But I am enjoying it more than I thought I would. Mainly for like the world is beautiful and fun to hop around in and explore. The dialogue is really funny. Like, you were watching me play the intro, Luigi was like, I'm gonna go park the car myself because I don't want to pay the valet. And just like it's a really funny game. The story is probably the weakest part of it though, because like it's just non-existent. Like, and it doesn't take much to have a good Paper Mario story. Like, you played the N64 one, there wasn't much there.
So good.
Rescue 7 Star Spirits, and that's it. But there's something so classic about the original, and this just feels random. I don't know. There's not really much going for it. So
yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. The whole thing with like the bosses not having like personalities and stuff, and like, I didn't really understand what you were getting at because like I forgot Super Paper Mario. I mean, I played it and loved it, But after playing N64 like so recently, like all the bosses you fight had some personality to them, and it was a lot of fun.
They're so memorable for that, how involved that they are into the story, and
and like the Koopa Bros, you had like what the hell was the other guy? There was that like magician guy you had to fight.
Touching Koopa, and then Tubba Blubba.
Tubba Blubba that chases you down after you beat him. To
the invincible Tubba Blubba.
Like it's just cool. Like I really enjoyed that game. It was a lot of fun, and I shouldn't have slept on it for as long as I did. That's the theme for today, because Chad's actually been playing games during these.
Yes.
Trying to catch up on a lot of old stuff. So.
But yeah, Origami King, decently fun. I'll let you know as I get further into it, because I hear impressions change once you get past a certain point. So I am curious to keep playing it. I'm enjoying it so far. And then the last game I'll mention real quick, I recently did a super spin-off stream of just like side Mario games. You can check that out on our channel if you've missed it. I did have a few technical problems while streaming, so where I had to kind of keep pausing the game every now and then. So if that annoys you, you can jump ahead to Captain Toad, and it was fixed by then. But
or leave a thumbs down.
Or that, drop a comment, say something. I don't care. I will take any feedback.
Right?
But I have been playing more of Mario Pinball Land, which was one of those games on that stream, and it's pretty fun. Like, I think it's such an interesting idea, like navigating a whole kind of like Mario-esque world through pinball, because you like go through doors that are blocked by like you need so many stars, and you have to like clear like little puzzles in each room, like kill all the enemies and you get a star here, or make all the Shy Guys match the same color and you'll get a star, and you're like navigating all these different worlds through little pinball flippers, and it's pretty interesting in that regard. What's really frustrating where I am right now is I want to get all the stars, and like the red coin challenges are the worst, because you have to get all the coins within a time limit while navigating through all these different areas, and it's already like hard enough to like aim where you're shooting, let alone do it within a time limit. It's just like the worst.
Yeah.
But I'm also just really bad at pinball, so it could be just me.
Video pinball is really difficult to aim in. So I've only seen the Mario Pinball Land from the little time you like first tested it to make sure that your cartridge worked. And my favorite, like, so I showed you Sonic Spinball on Sega, and I love that game. I played it so much as a kid. I was terrible at it, but it was just fun. I just thought it was a really interesting take on Sonic, who can turn into a ball. So it kind of
it makes so much sense.
It makes a lot of sense. I thought it was really well done, especially like there's bumpers throughout all of Sonic's games too. So it just kind of makes sense there. You have springs and bumpers and everything. So
and the music works so good, and just I never heard of that. That looked
that blew
really
my mind.
Cool.
That blew my mind that you'd never seen that game before, because that was because I know a lot of people don't like it because it's not like a Sonic game. It's a it's a spin-off, but
it almost looks like a better Sonic game to me, in my opinion. It makes more sense.
It's a Sonic game that you can actually kind of play, and like it's not just like go super fast and miss half the level.
I bet you that would probably end up being my favorite Sonic game, just like Pokemon Snap is my favorite Pokemon game.
Pokemon Pinball on Game Boy Color, that was a good one too.
Oh, Pokemon Pinball is really good too.
But it's okay. One of my favorite pinball games though, so like I love Sonic Spinball. One of my favorite pinball games is on Game Boy called Revenge of the Gator, and that's like straight up just a pinball game, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's got like Revenge of the Gator's cool. If you get on like a virtual pinball kick, you got to check that one out. That one was like one of my favorites. I grew up playing. I don't even know how I got it, but I think my mom bought it for me, and I just played it forever. I'm actually going to take a look at it real quick. I think it was I feel like it was developed by HAL. It was a HAL Labs game, yeah.
That intrigues me much more now.
I thought it was. I just wanted to verify that. So
HAL was a cool company back in the day.
It's a really fun game. So check that one out for sure when you can. The last time it was re-released was on the 3DS Virtual Console. So which is gonna be dying soon since 3DS production was just cut.
Right.
So
that's all right.
Yeah, check it out. Anything else you've been playing?
No, I think that should cover. How long did that take?
That took 30 minutes.
Oh boy, we still have so much to talk about.
All right.
Should we break or just jump
We
forward?
We can break, and you can give the people some music.
All right, we'll be right back.
We are back. That was a very long playlist, but you've got 3D All Stars that just came out. So we
knew that was going to take out a big chunk.
So out of nowhere, we get a Nintendo announcement from the Zelda team, which was like, oh. Yeah. Now, granted,
you see Mr. Noah on the screen talking about Breath of the Wild and how we're gonna have to wait a little longer. We're like, okay.
Well, you can tell, that was the thing, that it wasn't live, so we knew the name of it was Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. But the video did start with him, so you're kind of like, ooh, what Breath of the Wild news are we gonna get here? So Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity is a follow-up to Hyrule Warriors that came out on the Wii U and the 3DS, and then was re-released on the Nintendo Switch in the Definitive Edition. So, this game is a Dynasty Warriors game taking place in the Zelda universe. The interesting thing with this one is that it is completely based around the Breath of the Wild as a prequel to show the Battle of Calamity. So,
yeah,
everyone's gonna die.
that right alone intrigues me so much. Like this, what the story and tone of this game is gonna be. Like, it's gonna be dark.
It seems really crazy. That team that does the Warrior games, I forgot who is it. What's the team that makes those games? Koei Tech.
Or Tecmo or something.
Koei Tecmo, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
They said that they have been working extremely close with the Zelda team to make this happen, to follow the storylines and make it feel ingrained in the Breath of the Wild universe. So that's...
I mean, you look at the visual style, it looks pretty darn on par with Breath of the Wild, like aesthetic. Yeah.
It does. So this game's supposed to come out November 20th. They're going to give us a big gameplay announcement / video preview on the 26th of September, so 6 days away.
Yeah, it's going to be during a Tokyo Game Show. So, what they showed so far, it was more of like a cinematic kind of trailer. So it didn't really show like much of the gameplay, if any. So, kind of just establishing the tone of the game.
Yeah, so I love Zelda. I know you love Zelda as well, as you can see with your posters you finally hung up behind you. And I've even got a Zelda shirt here. But I'm lukewarm on this. Like, I don't know how I feel about it because, like, I really do not like the Warrior games. Like, I bought Hyrule Warriors on Wii U and I bought it on 3DS. And I did fire it up when I first got it on Wii U, and I was just kind of like, I'm not interested in this at all. Turned it off. Sat there forever. The day they announced this, I fired it up again on my Wii U. I was like, let's check it out. Let's see if this is something I should get excited for or not. And I played like the first battle, and there's just so much going on. I can't follow it. It's just, this game's not for me. So I'm really interested to see what this new one does, and if it's some sort of like balance between a warrior game and a Zelda game, maybe it'll work. But I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to see what the gameplay does, because if it's literally just like looks like Breath of the Wild, but it's the same type of game, like, no interest. Like, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. And I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm definitely keeping an eye on this, but like, I also just do not enjoy the gameplay of Dynasty Warrior games. Just, it's very arcadey and repetitive and mindless to me. But what this does intrigue me a lot more, in the sense that the context that it fits in with this game makes a lot more sense for like a big war happening in Hyrule,
sure, yeah,
and taking place before Breath of the Wild. So I feel like that might have a little more pull to it, a motivation to kind of keep playing, as it kind of relates to it relates better to what you're actually doing towards the game. And I'm also very intrigued, just the fact of like being able to play as the champions and stuff. That just sounds like so much fun. Yeah. So hopefully it strikes a good balance. I'm definitely kind of on the same boat, cautiously optimistic, but I want to see more.
Yeah. So we'll get that update in 6 days from recording this. So
yeah,
you know, we'll see. We'll see what they show. I think it's supposed to be a pretty long video too. I think it's what I heard, like 30 minutes or something like that.
I think I heard like 30 or 40 minutes.
Just for that. So.
Yeah, and I want to know what the heck that little mini guardian is on the box.
Looks like a
just like
one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those guys that you fight in the shrines, or something like that.
It looks like a little buddy with Zelda though, for some reason. True. Like I think you saw it in the cutscene, like is sitting right next to her, and yeah, very intrigued.
It's a royal guardian. So. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes out on that and see what comes from it. So
yeah, man.
After that, last week
I kind of rearranged on the list here, but I think maybe we'll talk about the Nintendo Mini Direct next, just since we're on a kind of Nintendo talk right now.
So on the 17th we had a Nintendo Mini Direct partner showcase again, which, you know, we've had a couple of those this year, and they were always like 5 minutes long with very little information of anything that was exciting, at least for myself. So, and honestly, that didn't change much for me personally. There was one game they announced that I am interested in, but overall, I felt it was a pretty solid direct for, you know, partner showcase. There was a lot shown that was kind of a little bit of everybody, like a little bit for everybody.
I thought they had a good variety this time, and of course being 15 minutes helps to get more of that variety.
So, first thing they showed off was Monster Hunter Rise, which is a new Monster Hunter game that's coming out exclusively for Nintendo Switch. Yeah, and which is huge.
It's crazy. Yeah. And it's like a crazy new looking Monster Hunter too. Like it has like way more mobility than I remember in a scene in a Monster Hunter game before, like zip lining around like almost Breath of the Wild style and stuff.
Yeah. I've never played a Monster Hunter game, so if you want to get it more into this, I have nothing to say.
I don't have much to say either. I've only ever tried, I think it was a Monster Hunter on the Wii U with a friend before.
Generations, I think is what that was. Yeah.
I think that was it. Yeah. So we only played a little bit of multiplayer, and I just never really got into the series because the controls felt too clunky to me. But I am intrigued to give it Monster Hunter another try at some point. I might with which we'll talk about kind of soon with the PlayStation. Monster Hunter Worlds, I think, is going to be free on PlayStation Plus Collect, so I might give the series another shot then.
Oh, Generations was on the Switch. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate was the Wii U one. All
That's the one.
Sorry, I had to correct myself.
No. But yeah, from that little bit I played and seeing this trailer, I can definitely tell that they are taking a focus and make the game more kind of like, I don't know, mobile in the sense of how the character moves around and chains that together and attack. So it seems interesting in that regard.
This was the first thing. Was this the game I told you it looked kind of like a PS2 game graphically in the trailer?
It did. I think
that it looked kind of
it had a little bit of stuttering to it
stuff.
too.
Yeah, I mean they're compressed trailers, so you never know what the final is gonna really look like.
True. But there is a little bit more to that, I think, if we can mention now. So this is running on Capcom's new Resident Evil engines, which I think requires a little more horsepower than I would think the Switch could handle. Well, I mean, that's why we have not seen likes of Resident Evil 7 or these remakes, other than I think in Japan that did that like streaming experiment.
Yeah.
But if this is coming out on a Switch and is using this new engine, Monster Hunter games also typically come out with new either new Switch model like special editions or new just models of Nintendo hardware. Sorry, I meant Nintendo models or special editions. So could this maybe be hinting at maybe once we get into the new year that this will coincide with a new Switch Pro model? I think there's a good possibility.
There's a lot of stuff that, there are reports of a new Switch being in development right now. I think a lot of it, I feel like we do have things leaning that way just because there's a lot of things that are ending in March for some reason. And it just doesn't make sense, except for that it's the end of their fiscal year. So it just seems kind of strange. It's like, we're going to sell this to
like we mentioned before, Mario's ending at the end of March.
The online Mario 35 is going to end in March.
Even the digital
edition's gone. It's like, what's going on? This seems weird. It seems like there's going to be something big is going to happen in like March, April that we just haven't gotten any inkling on yet. So
I think that's going to be a push for a new Switch system.
Possibly. So we'll see what comes with that. But if they do release this game and it only runs on new Switch hardware, that's gonna deter a lot of people.
I don't think it's gonna go that far, but I think there's a strong possibility there could be a special edition Monster Hunter version of a Switch console that goes with this, and B, it could be on a Switch Pro that will run better.
Yeah, kind of like the new 3DS or stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly the case that happened with Monster Hunter for new 3DS. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that because that's probably more interesting to me than the game itself. Is just seeing what comes out of that. But that was like the beginning of the Direct. That was pretty long because they went from
and they had a second Monster Hunter game too that they showed
back to back, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, which was more of an RPG series spin-off that they've been doing.
The Monster Hunter Stories to Wings of Ruin.
Yeah.
So, and then they followed that Direct with a 15-minute Monster Hunter Direct. Which after showing those first two games, I remember I wrote Patrick and was like, is this a Monster Hunter Direct? Is that all we're getting? So then real quick, I guess, some other games they showed off are Fitness Boxing 2. I played the demo of the first one, and it was okay, but, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to play Beat Saber. It's just way better. VR that's like the killer VR app.
They're more engaging.
Yeah. It's definitely cool, and like I said, the demo was neat.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pronounce that game. Was it Desega? I have no idea.
Oh gosh, I did not look up the pronunciation.
There's a new one for that. That's exclusive to Switch, which apparently these games are usually not exclusive to Switch.
Yeah. The only thing I know about that game is that mascot, so I know nothing else.
Empire of Sin didn't spark me.
That was like Mafia
LA
Gangster, X-Com.
like that. Elite Sniper 4, The Long Dark, PGA Tour 2K21, which to me,
I remember you commenting to me that looked rough.
It did, and like, it looked so like previous gen, like 3 previous gens ago. I don't know. Maybe it's not so bad. I said the Monster Hunter looked kind of rough too, but yeah, I don't know. I love.
Yeah, Monster Hunter doesn't look better than that.
I love golf games, so when I see that, it's like, really, like, it's just the greens, like, make them. They look just a little rough, in the rough. So they showed a quick thing of Hades, which just came out, and was this Balan Underworld or Wonderworld?
Balan Wonderland. I think that's the same kind of creator series of the Knights games. Okay. That like Sega adventure.
Yeah, I had
game.
Knights on Saturn when I was growing up. So and they showed Rune Factory 5, which I know a lot of people like the Rune Factory games. That's kind of like
this whole direct. I was thinking of the NPC host.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this direct is just for her.
Pretty much. So, but then they did the one more announcement thing, as they always do, and we actually got something that interests me because I've never played it, but it's always looked great, and that is Ori Will of the Wisp, which is the sequel to Ori. What is it? It's Ori and the something Forest.
And the Blind Forest.
Yeah, the Blind Forest.
The first one.
So the game was already out on Switch. It's been out on Xbox and PC, I believe.
The crazy thing is this game came out on Xbox and PC like only 6 months ago. And the fact that it's already hit here is like,
it's interesting to me too, because I remember after Ori came to Switch like last year, I think it was, or the beginning of this year, I think
it was actually September of last year.
I seem to remember hearing that Xbox said they weren't going to put any more games on Switch. Like the Xbox, there wouldn't be no more Xbox games coming over. Not that it was like, not because of like any ill will or whatever, but I just remember that was like the last thing I heard. Was that
maybe it was just like they didn't have plans to at that time.
And they realized that Ori probably sold a ton on the Switch, so they were like, hey.
I mean, I picked it up.
I haven't played it. I had it on when I had Game Pass. I had it installed. I need to get Game Pass again, honestly. That's like such a good deal, but I don't have the time to play everything. So, but even then, $6 a month, if I can run through 1 or 2 games, it's totally worth it. Even if I just go through one game, it's worth to just, $6 or whatever. It's so good. It's like such a good deal. If you're like, if I was in high school right now and I had Game Pass, man, I'd feel like I'm stealing. It'd be so much.
It's like the modern Blockbuster.
Yeah, pretty much. So they did announce a collector's edition that came with like both games.
They had both games along with like assortment of like different art collectibles and stuff. Like it had like a stained glass it came with, and
it looked really cool, but I knew it was going to be expensive. And then once you see it's $150, it was like
$150.
Yeah, that's rough.
You gotta really love those games.
I was hoping for like a $60 2-pack or something. I'd buy that, but
because what I think both games together are normally just like $50 in total. So this is like $100 extra
just for like like.
I mean, it's a really pretty box. I won't lie.
It looked great. It was really cool, but that was the big news that came out of the direct. Those are really the biggest things to talk about: Monster Hunter and Ori. Everything else was, if you like those games or want to play them, they're coming out. So
for sure.
So do you want to jump into the next thing on the list?
Let's do one more at least. Yeah, and then we'll take another break.
Cool.
So the last kind of like direct-ish thing was from not the big publishers, but we had Ubisoft. They had their own like Ubisoft Forward thing, and I think we'll go through this pretty quickly. But
laughing at the first one.
I think there's only really like 2 games we really care about. But they started off by showing more of what you may previously known as Gods and Monsters, that is now Immortals Fenyx Rising. Did you hear why they changed the name? I actually heard it was kind of funny. Apparently it was Monster energy drinks that was like made them change the name because they had the right on Monster or something.
Gods and Monsters, and it's like...
Yeah, I that surprises me just because I thought, like, if anything, they would want to, like, do a collaboration or something, like promote their game with an energy drink.
I feel like...
Not, like, sue
I feel like
each
it's
other.
weird that you can, like, trademark the word monster. Like,
yeah.
That seems...
I don't know the details, so I should have looked it up more, but...
Seems weird.
Something seems weird there. But anyways, it is called Immortals Fenyx Rising, and if you haven't seen this game, it, like, unabashedly, like, is taking inspiration from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. That's actually, like, so I didn't realize that was even the same game, like the Gods and Monsters game. I'd never paid attention to that before.
Okay.
So when I
mean, they barely showed it before.
So
yeah.
I've heard you talk about it, but I didn't know what you were talking about. So I just kind of, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. Because I remember you said before, I'm interested in that Gods and Monsters game. When they showed this trailer, I was immediately like, this is Breath of the Wild. This looks interesting. Like, definitely look cool.
Yeah, like to put it, like, what is Breath of the Wild? They have, like, gliding and climb anything, summon your horse. They have shrines, which they call vaults in this, but they are essentially, like, place marks around the map with little mini dungeons that you solve puzzles.
And like the cinematic they showed at the beginning, it showed the main character, I guess, it's a girl.
You think you can customize.
Okay, well, whatever they showed.
That's just what they showed.
She like was flying down and she like froze and pulled her bow out and shot it. And I was like, this is Breath of the Wild. And
bow shots. They even have like a telekinesis move where you're like lifting boulders and stuff.
And I'm pretty sure she was wearing like a blue tunic too. I feel like that's what I saw. Okay, customizable, but still, I mean, they knew what they were going for in this trailer.
Yeah.
If that's the case. So, it looked cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Here's the thing, like, it's so Breath of the Wild, and yet I'm asking myself, like, why am I not excited?
Yeah, and that's what I've said. My response to you on that was that it's not Nintendo first party. It's not the Zelda team working on it.
I'm having a hard time putting my finger on it. Like, I don't know if it's something to do with the combat or just the characters I just don't care about, but something has not hooked me, even though, like, it looks like a fun world to, like, explore and with the mechanics. I'm not quite sure what isn't pulling me in yet, though.
Well, maybe that'll be a game that has like a demo or something. That'd be cool on the eShop, and then check it out.
That would be cool. And it is coming to all systems.
Yeah.
And it's coming out in December, which is soon.
That's cool.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that'd be cool if we could get a demo. A lot of stuff does have demos through the eShop, which is pretty cool. So.
Yeah, that might convince me if I can play it out.
And everybody loved like their Mario Rabbids XCOM games, so you know,
Ubisoft does land it right every now and then. So, but as the rest of this event will show, we don't really care much about the rest of the games. I think part of the issue is Ubisoft has such a weird way of presenting things. Like the tone that they present their trailers just are so boring and repetitive.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna, like, they all feel the same in tone.
It's always like a hard beat that hits. It's like boo, 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 and then it's like a guy like runs in like a cinematic movie, and then there's
slow motion,
guns blazing, and then it's like a title screen, and I don't know. It's just weird. Like every single game they showed looks like that. I don't know. It's just everything seemed like it was the same game, just with a different art style, and even some of them were the same. So,
of the rest of the games they showed Prince of Persia: Sands of Time Remake, which looks rough.
Did you ever play the original?
I don't know. No. I did not.
So I remember playing the original on PS2, and Yeah, it was fun. The whole like slow down time mechanic was really neat. That was like a big deal. I remember everyone talking about that when it first came out. It was like people were so looking forward to that, and I sucked at it. I tried playing it, and I just kept dying. And then that was kind of in my, my PS2 era, GameCube era was kind of. I wasn't playing as many games. I was like skateboarding a lot, and then playing Counter-Strike. So I did miss a lot of games. I didn't put a lot of time into it, but I do remember that game when it came out, and I remember, getting pretty high regards.
Yeah, I bet you it's a fun game. Like, just when I saw the trailer, I was like, that looks like a GameCube game, and sure enough, it is pretty much remake. But
yeah, I mean, that's when it came out, was that era. So.
And then they showed Hyperscape, which I can't even remember what that is looking at that name.
I don't remember what it was either, honestly.
Rainbow Six. They showed some random Rainbow Six stuff.
Yeah. So the next one that we have here on the list is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
That's the other game.
So I've never played it. I've always heard about it. I've heard about the whole thing about how it was locked to the Xbox 360 arcade, and once it got pulled, it was gone. Never came back. So
pretty sure it was on PlayStation.
Yeah, it was on PlayStation
too.
and Xbox. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that was 10 years ago, and now it's back. And it
proves anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean,
in this industry, and anything companies say is lies.
Well, a big thing was that the dev on the game, either the dev or the owner or whatever, wrote something on Twitter basically like, "You got your game, stop bothering me now," and then put like a smiley face or something like that. So it's literally like, because I guess he was getting blown up, like he gets blown up constantly for like, re-release this game. So, so it's a retro kind of like River City Ransom beat 'em up.
Yeah, just a brawler kind of game.
Based off of Scott Pilgrim and the 7Xs or whatever, 9Xs, however many it was. I've only seen the movie once, and I thought it was okay.
I love the movie.
Yeah, I've only seen it once, and I watched it like a couple years after it came out. I was just like, oh, I gotta finally watch this movie, and I sat down and watched it. I was like, it's okay. It's the references are, that's what gets me for all that stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool. I understood that reference. But I'll check this out for sure, because I know a lot of people say it's a great game. I do like beat 'em ups, and if it has like online play or anything like that, that'll be really cool, because
that would be cool.
I'm not sure if it does.
Yeah.
I be interested to see that, because beat 'em ups to me are like way more fun when you're playing with friends. They're kind of boring one player, because
for sure.
I've beaten Ninja Turtles here on my arcade machine.
It's always more fun. Yeah, brawlers with friends.
Playing through Ninja Turtles by myself, it's like, this is fun, but I'm kind of bored of just bashing the button now. Like, it'd be cool if like my friends were here and we were playing. So.
Yep.
But
yeah, I've only ever played like a few levels with my roommates back in college, but I'm definitely inclined to pick this up and play again with someone else.
Yeah, and if they do a physical release, which I know a lot of people like are pushing for that, just due to the game preservation, reasoning. Since it did disappear, it's kind of like, well, just make it physical, and then you won't have that problem when it disappears. Like, it'll still be out there.
Very true.
So I'll probably pick it up physically if it does come out physical.
If it does,
just because you never know. And
but dude, the animation, the pixel art is so good in this. The music, it's awesome. Like, I can't wait for this. It's like day one purchase, whatever form it comes in.
It looked good. From what I saw in the trailer, it was like, all right, cool. Because I didn't even know that's what it was. I've just heard people talk about it, and I knew it was a beat 'em up, but I never saw it, never played it.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, they talked about Watch Dogs more and Riders Republic.
Was some kind of
it's like X Games
biking
it
game
was
or
like
something. I don't know.
everything. It's not just biking, because it was like
I don't know.
paragliding, it was biking, it was boating.
I was kind of distracted with work at the end, and then I didn't really watch that part because it didn't interest me. So
I'm not into those kind of games. Like, I like Tony Hawk. Don't get me wrong, and I used to play a lot of like BMX, Triple X, and like Matt Hoffman's BMX and stuff like that. But I never, I never got into like the crazy ones. I mean, I guess I did play a little SSX, like snowboarding, but like.
SSX Tricky.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I played the original one on PS2. That was like a launch title on PS2. I remember playing that on a lot. And then I did play a little of Amped on the Xbox. Amped on the first Xbox was pretty cool. But I don't know. This game looked like crazy, and I don't get into all the customization stuff. That's just not for me. So I don't care if you have a skeleton face mask on and are shooting colored smoke out of your head. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Ubisoft has been doing that for a lot of their games recently. I don't
got
understand.
that like weird, like, we're so young and hip,
Neon
and everything
rainbow smokes everywhere.
Yeah, it's just kind of strange to me. It doesn't do it for me. It doesn't make the game interesting to me. It's like, okay, it makes it more annoying to me. It's like, I don't know, but whatever. But that was the Ubisoft Forward. There's some new games coming out. Again, we'll check on that. But before we get into the big news, let's take a quick break. We're about an hour into the podcast now. Take a break, and then hopefully be able to get through this next part in an hour or less, so we don't go over that 2-hour break. All right, we'll be right back. We are back from that break, and we are into the meat of the podcast here. The big news. Both
the console wars have begun.
They have. And the prices have been revealed from Xbox and PlayStation. Xbox dropped the price first due to some leaks that happened, which they...
Yes, not sure if it was a force of hand or if they were just ready to do it, but it happened.
Well, the tweet that came out was, let's make this official. And then they dropped the price, so...
Yeah, it started on, September 7th, where a Series S was leaked, which was crazy to me, like, in the fact, like, a console we didn't even know about was leaked before any details of, like... The one console we were still waiting for information on.
And then they immediately confirmed it the next day. So
yeah, they're like, this is real.
And apparently, like months ago, it was on the shelf of Phil Spencer during like a YouTube video, which is pretty funny seeing that. It was like back in March, he like did a video and there's an Xbox Series S sitting on the back. But since it looks like a little speaker, no one probably paid attention to it.
Yeah.
So real quick, we'll just do a quick breakdown. The Series S is a smaller version of the Xbox, a lower powered version of the Xbox next generation. Mm-hmm. So this has a max of 1440p at 60 frames a second. It's got a slightly less clock speed at 3.6 gigahertz. It is digital only. You will have
that is a big
no
factor.
Disk drive. It has half the storage space as the X, which is 512 gigs. It has less RAM at 10 gigs, and it is 4 teraflops of power.
4 teraflops.
That's like Wii U, isn't it?
It's probably pretty close. I don't know.
I don't know what the Wii U is.
I'm not sure, but considering the Series X is 12 teraflops, if we're going that alone as a comparison, then it is a third of what this next gen is supposedly.
Yeah, so let's see. I was just curious if there was just to see what it was. But actually this.
But yeah, based off those specs, we kind of it's basically a cheaper but less powerful digital only console, and it's priced at $299, where the Series X is $499.
So the big thing here is that $299 is a good price, like for a brand new console.
That is a pretty.
We haven't seen that since the Switch, and everyone knows that there's a power issue with the Switch playing some of these newer games. But the big thing here is if you pair this with Game Pass, you're getting everything pretty much. So the need for a disc is kind of pointless. And then you can also pair it with xCloud too. So the streaming service.
That is if you don't care about. If you only care about playing the games, you're not really concerned with ownership.
So,
yeah, but it is a super affordable way to play like all the newest games, like right as they come out, and and they must know this because they even are introducing what they call Xbox All Access, which is it means to buy both the console and 2 years of Game Pass for
it's basically like a cell phone contract.
2 years. So
you're doing like a 2-year contract to pay $23 a month for the S and $35 a month for the X. So it basically makes it affordable for people that aren't going to drop $500 out the gate. You know, it's like the cell phones. Almost nobody buys a cell phone full price. Like my iPhone right now is paid off in January, and I can't wait because I would just pay it off, but it didn't make sense to do that because they're going to charge me more to pay it off rather than to just pay it monthly because of a trade-in promotion. They credited me the money or whatever over a 2-year period to make it, $400 less than what it was.
Right. And Microsoft loves this because A, it kind of locks you in, and B, they have like guaranteed income set for like the next 2 years.
And another interesting thing was that EA Play, which is like EA's digital front that has like I think it's usually like $20 or something like that. Like 14 or $20, something like that. But it gives you access to like Madden, NHL, and FIFA, and all those games where you don't have to like buy the game every year. So if you play that game a lot, it kind of makes sense, especially if you only play it for a few, if you just play it when it first comes out, you can play it for that 1 month or whatever. But that's now part of Xbox Game Pass, which is pretty awesome because I'm personally hoping that means that I'll have access to the NHL games on PC now, since they've never pushed those on PC before. I don't know, but since Xbox kind of has a PC and a console one,
it depends how they distinguish between their console and PC.
It'll be
Game
interesting
Pass.
to see what happens this generation, because I feel like myself, I've always bought an Xbox. I had the first one, the 360, the One, all that stuff, and I have no interest in getting an Xbox now because of my gaming PC and the way that they've been approaching Game Pass and just being able to, they're pretty much making the Xbox is Windows 10, and they're releasing anything on Windows 10 through the Xbox app. So Xbox, to me, I'm looking at it more of a platform than a console. It's just a way to play games.
It definitely seems like they're more so pushing the Surface than the console at this point, which it may prove an effective strategy.
I think for anybody that has a gaming PC, there's no reason to get an Xbox. Like, there really isn't. Especially, some third-party stuff. And that's the only thing that kind of tied me in, was getting the Xbox or the NHL games. I want NHL on my PC. Apparently, they did do Madden to PC this year, but I haven't heard anything about NHL. So I'm hoping Madden does well enough where they'll finally get NHL back on PC, because there hasn't been one since like 2007 or something like that. Like it's been ridiculous.
But yeah, I was definitely surprised at the price point. Like, it was lower than I expected, even price point based off what we were expecting with these consoles. So
yeah, I mean, I think the graphic power and like everything that it's running, like 3.8 gig ray tracing, all that stuff is, to me, like, I don't get how it can be so cheap. Like, I feel like you're working at a loss here. I mean, I know that there's deals cut between, the manufacturers and how many they make and all that stuff, but like, if you just think about it from like a PC, mind, like, the graphics card in this is very similar to the graphics card I have. And I paid $800 for that 2 years ago, just for the graphics card. The difference is this one has ray tracing too, which is newer and I assume it'd be about the same price if I bought it for PC. I almost have the same, it's a custom CPU, but it's a Ryzen Core 3.8. That's what I'm running in my PC here, and I paid like $250 for that. So that right there alone is way over $499, and not including a controller, a disk drive, all sorts of stuff, like an SSD. Like, it's just kind of crazy that consoles are cheaper, but like when you think about the specs, like these are good specs for the price you're getting.
Yeah.
So it's
so I almost thought like Microsoft might be selling at a loss just to get people on board for the Game Pass. At least that is until PlayStation then announced the price of their console. And because I thought they might be sweating when they saw Microsoft announce their prices. Like, oh man, are we going to be able to match that?
Yeah, because we were seeing rumors, like people were saying like $6, some were even saying $9. People were saying like $800 to $900 for the Xbox, which, like, honestly, like I think it's high, but how many people spend $1,000 on iPhones constantly, especially if you're doing it in a monthly scenario? Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I would not be surprised if eventually we get to that point where consoles are going to run you, the price of your phone. Or we're going to have phones that are our consoles we just hook up and play. Hook up to a TV. It's going to be like a Switch. Pop it in, use it as your phone, whatever. But, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. But, with the PS5 coming out, matching that price for the full model is pretty crazy.
Which I guess we'll transition here after Microsoft announced all this console information. We finally got word of a PlayStation 5 showcase next week.
Real quick, pre-orders for the Xbox Series S and X are starting on Tuesday.
The 22nd.
The 22nd of September. So
I'll be interested to see how that operates based off the debacle that was PlayStation 5 pre-orders.
And the console's coming out November 10th. So
okay.
We forgot to mention
that was also a detail, yes.
But to the PlayStation event. So this is the one I was looking forward to. I wanted to know this price, which we now know was $599 or $499 for the PS5 full version. Then they have a digital only that's $399. So,
and the distinction between this is the digital and the disc versions. They are the exact same in specs.
Just one doesn't have a disc drive.
Just one doesn't have a disc drive, yeah. But it's not like the Series S where it's a less powerful system.
Yeah. So it makes sense that it's $100 more. Like, You know what I mean? Like, so you can't compare the S. You can't, in my opinion, you can't compare the Series S to the digital version of the PS5.
Yeah.
Because you're essentially buying the same thing as the PS5. You're not buying a lesser machine.
Yeah.
So, but they started the showcase, and the first thing they showed was Final Fantasy 16, which is just way over my head. I haven't played a Final Fantasy since I played a little bit of 8. I beat 7, played a little bit of 8, played a little bit of Mystical Quest or whatever on Super NES. Not really big into the series. I've heard good things about the newer games with like their more action-based fighting instead of turn-based.
Definitely seems like they've been going more action-based lately. And I haven't really played much of the Final Fantasy games either. I always just kind of like enjoy seeing them as like a showcase for like Sony platforms. Like I was like, oh, that's a new Final Fantasy game, because those games take years between development of seeing anything, so it's always just interesting to see like, oh, what are you doing next with this series?
Yeah, the one thing I thought was interesting was that they said at the beginning of the show, they said the following footage is emulated on a computer. Is footage from a computer emulated
running on a PC, emulating a PlayStation 5 experience.
Yeah, which is kind of funny to me, because the game also said at the bottom, it said coming to PlayStation 5, blah, 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 also available on PC.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
I think it was exclusively for PlayStation 5 console, also coming on the PC.
Yeah, but I think it's coming to Xbox too. It's just exclusive. It's a time-released exclusive to
It might
PS5.
be timed. Yeah, they didn't make it very clear.
I think that's what I read.
Yeah.
So, but that was it. And then after they showed that one, I don't know if do you have anything else to say about Final Fantasy 16?
Not too much really. I do like the fact that it's going more in a kind of fantasy setting again, with like kind of like medieval, old school kind of fantasy.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. But yeah, other than that, it didn't really interest me too much. It just seemed like a lot of giant spirits fighting each other. So like...
that was a big thing in 7 though too. I remember that. Like when I started seeing those things pop up, I was like, oh, I remember this kind of stuff. Like when you're throwing out your specials and stuff.
Yeah, like spirits are cool and all, but I definitely am more inclined. I want to see the rest of the world more so. They didn't really show much of it. Like I love Final Fantasy for like airships and weird opera houses and ghost trains and like show me the setting.
Yeah, I need to play some of the newer ones. Just because I never have. We'll talk about. Maybe I'll be able to play one shortly. So
yes, we'll mention that soon.
We'll mention that. But everything after the Final Fantasy one, they said this is everything you'll see from this point now is on a PS5.
Okay.
So that's.
I missed that text message, the little text.
Yeah. They showed that right after the Final Fantasy one, because I just paid attention to that because I was like, that's kind of weird. It's like, so you're basically telling me that
I didn't notice that. Yeah,
you're telling me all this can just run on my computer. So what's the point of buying your console? So, but the next thing they showed was the Spider-Man Miles Morales sequel or mini story, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's supposed to be kind of like, I think, a smaller Spider-Man game, but still like its own game.
Yeah,
so.
But it's cool that they're taking Miles from the animated short or the animated movie, and throwing him into this world.
I think he was in the Spider-Man game as well as like a side character.
Oh, was he? I see. I haven't played it.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, and it really sucks.
Yeah.
But that's why I was excited for the PS5, because I did not have a PS3 until I got one that was broken and I fixed it. And I never had a PS4, so I missed out on all the PS4 exclusives. So I am really excited to.
Yeah, I don't think that game is part of the collection.
It's not. It's
like for free.
It's not.
But they are bundling Spider-Man Miles Morales with the original Spider-Man game if you are interested in like getting both.
Yeah, and I know that they said Spider-Man that will be a PS4 game as well, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
That was a kind of surprise to many people.
Yeah. So
how a lot of these games are going to be releasing on PS4. So even the next Horizon game is going to be on PS4 still.
Yeah, I saw that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that goes to PC too, because the first Horizon just came out to PC.
True.
So which I was kind of tempted to pick it up, but it's like $50 when I can get Horizon on PS4 for like $10. So it's like I'll just wait. But yeah, so. I guess that's pretty much it. I'm excited to play it because I wanted to play the first Spider-Man. It looked really good. I know you said it was really good.
Oh yeah.
I think everyone I know that's played it said it's amazing.
It's like one of the best superhero games ever.
Yeah.
Like next to Batman,
Arkham Knight,
series.
which I've never played any of those either.
Yeah.
So I've missed out on so much. So next thing they showed was a Harry Potter I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like an adventure Harry Potter game.
It is like my childhood fantasy for like a Harry Potter game.
Are you excited?
I'm a little excited. Just because like
you're not playing as Harry.
For one, you're not playing as Harry. Like, don't get me wrong, the books and the movies are fine, but like in a game, after experiencing that medium and all those other formats, you're like, I want something new. I want something fresh, but still within this universe.
Yeah.
I basically want to be a student. I want to go to classes. And I want to have an adventure. And that is everything this game looks to be delivering.
Yeah. It's called Hogwarts Legacy is what it's called.
Yeah. So I am very intrigued by this just because it seems to be delivering all those notes on just the right tone. So
yeah, I don't know. I've never played any of the Harry Potter games, and I don't know. I'll see what the reviews say. I'll see how you like it.
I think the only Harry Potter game I've ever really enjoyed outside of that, I didn't really play too many of them because, like I said, like you have the movies, and the books. Yeah. You don't need.
I don't like playing like games based on movie properties and stuff. It just
not usually.
Yeah,
I think the only one I did pick up that was I want to say it was the 5th book. What was that? The Order of the Fenyx for the Wii. And that was because it came pretty close to being like an open world Hogwarts game where you ran around Hogwarts and you were using your like Wii remote to do spells, and it was just kind of fun to run around Hogwarts.
Grand Theft Wizard.
The adventure part was kind of boring because we already knew it.
Yeah.
But like running around Hogwarts was just so much fun.
Yeah, that's cool. So then they did a quick rundown, I guess, on they did the new Call of Duty, Cold War. The new Resident Evil trailer for Village, which is Resident Evil 8. Game called Deathloop. That looks kind of interesting to me.
That's that Bethesda game.
Yeah.
I'll say, like, as much as I don't really care about it, the more that they show about it, the more interesting it gets.
Yeah.
I like how they're kind of integrating this Groundhog Day loop.
Yeah.
And, like, that you're actually trying to, like, change people's, like, schedules or, like, what they do so that they'll end up someplace else. It almost has kind of like a Majora's Mask vibe in that you can kind of change the outcomes of this small environment based off what you do when you do it in the loop.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like Minute too, if you think about it, like, because you just have like, everything you do is gonna change based on the next time you come back. So but Minute was awesome. I love that game. I'm so glad you had me play that too. That was fun. They showed the Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. That was a game I told you that I wanted to really enjoy it. I thought the first one was really cool, but I just never really got into it after like the first or second stage. It was kind of like, it's a
it's kind
of a button mashing beat 'em up. It's a combo.
It either clicks with you or it doesn't.
Yeah.
I know one of my friends just loves those games. I'm like, that's cool.
I tried to really love the first one. It was like something I always tried to play. I remember the day it came out, like I was at my friend's house and his dad got it and was like stoked for it. And, I just never got into it at all. Like I watched him play. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then we played, and then I just never really got into it after that. They showed the new Oddworld game. That was a game I never played before. Did you ever play the Oddworld games?
I have not played any of those games before.
I've heard they're good. But they're just something that never came across my library. So
I feel like that series requires like an investment in it to care about it, and at this point there's like so many games I don't know if yeah.
So kind of like the Five Nights at Freddy's game that they just
I'm
released.
surprised that got spotlighted like in this event.
I've never played them before at all. I have no clue what they're about other than like that big
aren't they just like jump scare
thing.
games?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's what I've heard it is. But I mean, people seem to like them. They keep making them and they keep porting them to everything. So
true.
Good for the guy who came up with that idea. And then of course Fortnite will be on the PS5.
Not surprising.
And will not be on the iPhone. Which we didn't update anything about that. About the we don't have that on the schedule tonight. Talk about any of these
I don't
think there was really anything big. I don't
think there's been much update other than I think the courts have ruled in favor of like that they can't ban all of Epic.
Yeah, I don't think they can ban Epic.
They can remove Fortnite from their platform, but they can't.
I think they did.
Yeah.
So that's done.
But I don't think they are allowed to remove any games that use Epic, like for other publishers.
Yeah.
So
anyway, given that they showed more of the Demon Souls remake that's coming out. Another series of games.
I know that's a big game for a lot of people.
Yeah. I've never been into those games before. I remember I tried Dark Souls on the Switch on a demo, and like those controls were so bad. It was such a clunky game. I turned it off almost immediately. It was like, this sucks.
I will say, like, it looks really pretty what Bluepoint is doing with this game. Bluepoint makes all their games look pretty.
Yeah.
These, like when they did the Shadow of the Colossus remake, oh my gosh, so gorgeous.
Yeah, never played that one either. PlayStation is just like, and it sucks because like I loved PS1. I had so many PS1 games, and I played the PS1, but and PS2 as well. I played a lot of PS2 games, but then like when the 3 came out, I just kind of fell off PlayStation because it was like a $600 console.
Yeah, $600 was probably that price.
And my Wii was $250. So I was just like, hey, I like, I'm gonna play the Wii. I'm not even gonna worry about PS3. And then the 4 came out, and the only reason I got a 4 was the only reason I skipped out on the 4 was a lot of the whole talk about it, like not playing media and stuff like that. Like that was a big turnoff for me. So I went with the Xbox, and I had PS4 in my hand because they didn't have any Xboxes. And as I was walking to the register, they wheeled out a cart of Xbox Ones. I put the PS4 down, and I grabbed an Xbox and walked out of the store. So I was like this close to being a PS4 guy last gen. And yeah, that's probably something I should regret, considering I also bought an Xbox One with the Kinect that cost me that cost me $500. It was $499 when the PS3 was $399. So I kind of
what would we use it for? We touched it for NHL and Cuphead.
I've played NHL and I've played Cuphead, and I did play a lot of Destiny.
Okay, that's right.
So I did get a lot out of my Xbox One as far as Destiny goes for the first one.
I feel like everybody played Destiny on whatever system they had that gen.
I played so much Destiny, like when I got into that game. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to the PS5 because I know Sadish is getting a PS5. And he plays Destiny, so I could see him trying to get me into it and playing that with him. So I might get back into it a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. But not having a mouse and keyboard though, it's like, now that I have played it with it, but they just need to make crossplay for everybody. That's what I need. So being on that subject of not having played all these games, they announced the PS Plus collection, which I'm looking forward to.
This is a bonus for anyone who has PlayStation Plus for PS5.
So first off, let's just say that it has been confirmed that roughly 99% of PS4 games are backwards compatible on the PS5. So that's huge for me, because I can get used PS4 games for pennies at this point. Like, not pennies, but you know what I mean. Cheap, yeah. So cheap compared to like what they were. So I'm
relatively cheap. In fact, a lot of the games they are giving for free in this collection, you could probably find for like $10-$20.
Yeah.
So
let's run down the full list of games real quick. We've got God of War, Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Battlefield 1, Monster Hunter World, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15. That's what we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. One of them might have to try. Last Guardian, Ratchet and Clank, Infamous Second Son, Days Gone, Bloodborne, Detroit Become Human, Batman Arkham Knight, Mortal Kombat X, Persona 5, Until Dawn, and Resident Evil Biohazard. So I believe that's the 7th one, correct?
I think so.
I think that's Resident Evil 7. So, yeah. Out of those 18 games, there are, let's see, 1, 2, I'm just going to do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 games out of 18 that I have been wanting to play. So or at least have some sort of interest in playing, and I'm going to be able to play it just by having a PS4.
And I bet you I might tell you a few more to play it if they're not on your list.
So out of that, I mean, I'm excited for that, just because, you know, a PS Plus collection is going to cost me like the price of a game for a year.
Yeah, and these are all available, I think, at launch. Download, play them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you have not played any of these games, like,
the hard part's going to be deciding,
and you have no reason to like feel bad about a launch lineup if it's.
And that's the thing. So a lot of people are like, "Why do you want a PS5? Because there's nothing coming out." And I'm like, "You're right. There's not a lot coming out that's exclusive for it." But like I've said, for me, I never had a PS4. All this stuff's coming out. I have an entire back catalog of PS4 games to choose from. And I can't justify going to the store right now and spending $200 to $300 on a last-gen console. Like, there's no point. Mm-hmm. I'd rather just spend $500 and be completely on the new console and be able to play the last console I didn't get to play. So,
yep.
It just that's the way.
And then save on all of these games as well.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
It pretty much end up being the same cost at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty nuts. So like we said, the digital version is $3.99. The disc version is $4.99. And that comes out on November 12th.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
2 days after the Xbox does.
Yeah, that's always the way it is, though. They were always like 2 days apart on the last gen release. Because I got mine the week after they came out on Black Friday. So, the last thing they showed was a title teaser for the next God of War game. Ragnarok.
Yeah, with a Kratos voice narrating a beep part or something in his deep voice. I don't know.
So that's supposed to come out next year sometime. So
that surprised me right there. Just the fact that it's next year. I was like, I did not expect that game to be ready for like a ways out.
Yeah, they've probably been working on it. The last one came out like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
So, it did. So. I just remember like hearing like the director of that game, like after he finished, like, I need a break. Yeah. And he didn't want to like immediately start.
They were like, I need a break. But and they're like, here's a check. And he's like, I can start tomorrow.
I was like, dude, we need this for our next console now.
Yeah. So the big thing that came out of all this was the pre-orders. So I guess we'll just talk about this real quick. Pre-orders for the PS5 dropped almost immediately after the announcement. And apparently that was not supposed to happen. I guess none of the realtors were like supposed to do that. Or
it was so funny just watching everything ensue.
Yeah.
So like immediately after the event, I went and just like pulled up every single store, like major store,
to find a placeholder.
and then like first started refreshing, and then I also had a tab with just like Google PS5 pre-orders, and I was like checking different Twitters as they like updated. So like the first one who was saying something was that Jeff Keighley. It was like pre-orders are supposed to happen tomorrow, says PlayStation. And then he later tweets like 20 minutes later, like, actually I hear they might go happen tonight. And then so now I'm just like refreshing every tab. And then eventually I found from what was it, Wario64.
That dude is ridiculous on Twitter with sales
he's
and
so
deals.
good.
So good.
So good.
Shout out to Wario.
Thank you, Wario.
So good.
Yeah, I saw his tweet about the Walmart pre-orders being the first to open, and so that's where I ended up pre-ordering and got it. And then I was like, I'm done. I'm now just gonna watch all the chaos ensue. So.
And that was on what day was that? That was on Thursday.
Thursday.
The 17th.
Yes.
So, or was it on Wednesday the 16th? No, it was Thursday.
I think it was Thursday.
Yeah, no, it was definitely Thursday. Because
because the pre-orders were supposed to open on Friday.
Yeah.
But that is not what followed suit.
So the thing that was crazy was that Sony sent out emails like a month ago.
That's right.
And you went to their website. There was a link that got publicized to subscribe here with your PSN network.
Like a pre-order for a pre-order.
Yeah, it was like a chance to get invited to a pre-order event where you have a chance to get a pre-order.
Select people, yeah.
So
for an opportunity to pre-order their system.
Like no one I personally know got one that registered. Like I
heard of nobody.
I saw people on Twitter that had it, that said they got it. Yeah. And I didn't expect one because, like I said, I haven't had a PlayStation since PS2. I have a PSN. I have a PSN ID because of using PlayStation View. So I did set one up on my PS3 that I fixed, and then and I think I have one maybe on my PSP, but I don't think that's even tied. But so I didn't expect to get one. I thought it would have been really, really funny if I got one and like. You or Siddish didn't get one just because just because you guys like play your PlayStations all the time. But I wasn't expecting one. But then I was like, I'm really not stressed about getting a pre-order because like you start seeing reports like Sony saying we're gonna have more PS5s at launch than we had PS4s at launch. And I remember, like I said, I walked into that store and they had PS4s. And then that was at Walmart. And then I went to Best Buy and they had PS4s. And then I went to Target this is all on Black Friday, and they had PS4s. Every single place I went to had PS4s available. And I don't remember it being a problem to get one. And that was on Black Friday, which is like, the craziest shopping day of the year. So it will be interesting to see about Black Friday this year with, everything being like, locked down and shut down.
Like honestly, I would not want to go anywhere.
I feel like it's going to be like a lot of online deals this year, which is awesome. That's what a lot of stores have been doing anyway lately. They've been doing like, first come, first serve online deals, or they'll just do their deal like a week before, the entire week. And then you just do in-store pickup. But back to like the PS5, I was just kind of like, I'll get one when I get one. There's no launch titles. There's the the PS4 back library I just talked about, but like, not pressed about getting it. But I was like, but if a link pops up and there's a pre-order, I'll try it. So Friday the 18th comes around, and I go on Facebook. My buddy posts, Sam's Club has PS5s. I'm like, cool. F5 gets there. It's there. Add to cart. Pre-order now. Purchase. Enter credit card information. Because I'm a Sam's Club member, so it's good. Enter my credit card information. Declined. I'm like, what? And then I get an alert on my app saying that there was fraudulent activity and they blocked the transaction. So I accepted it, went back to the site to put in my information, and it was sold out. So that me off. I was really irritated by that. That was really annoying. Because then I was like, all right, well, now I'm not going to stress about it because, it is what it is. It's not a big deal, but it was just annoying that I had one and my bank was the reason why.
Yeah.
And this same thing happened to me when I bought Breath of the Wild. Or no, it was my Switch. It was when I bought my Switch. The same exact thing happened. But the difference was I got an email from Best Buy and a text message from my bank. But Best Buy let me update the payment information, and they kept my pre-order in place. But because of that alert, I woke up and saw your text about the Master Edition. So it's, as much as I hated it, it did work out to my favor at one point. So so I did get my Master Edition because of something like that of Breath of the Wild. But so that night, I'm walking around the neighborhood, and I set up alerts on Wario64's Twitter, and I get this pop-up. It's like, Walmart pre-orders go live at 9, and I was like, all right, I'll try at 9. If I don't get it at 9, I'm not going to stress about it. So I go to my computer as soon as I get home. I log into my Walmart account. I add my credit card. Same credit card, too. I was like, it has to work now because I've already accepted. And Sam's Club's owned by Walmart. So I was like, all right, this has to work. So I add the same credit card. 9 o'clock comes around. I refresh. It says pre-order. I click pre-order, add to cart, checkout, sold out. Or no, it froze. It froze. I hit F5 at 9:01, and it finally loaded. And it said like, please, it said like, we are restocking, please try again later, or something like that. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, did every bot on the internet just buy these? Like, it was literally like 1 minute, like if that, and it was just crazy. So I was like irritated by it. I was like, all right, it's fine, I'm not worried about it. I had to go around the house and do a couple things before we started playing Fenyx Wright. And then at like 9:20, I open the browser, hit F5, and it says pre-order. I click pre-order, and it adds to my cart. I click checkout, and it all works. So I ended up securing my pre-order. So I'm happy I got my pre-order. I'm happy to play these games that I didn't play. We'll see what comes out. We'll see how I get used to the controller with the symmetrical analog sticks that I always complained about. I will probably pick up Tony Hawk 1 and 2 on the PlayStation just because that controller is what I've always played those games with. So it just
let's talk real quick. Yeah, what games we're gonna be playing with this new system?
I'm gonna be playing all PS4 games.
Like what are like the 3 games you're most excited for?
Out of the collection, or just in general?
Yeah, or just in general.
In general, I really want to play Horizon. And I really want to play Spider-Man. Those are like the 2 big ones. The Tony Hawk remake, I could play now on my PC if I wanted to, but I will probably get that on PlayStation just because that's where I've always played it in the past.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I could always just plug a PS2 controller into my computer and play it that way, and nothing's gonna change. But those are probably the most excited for, because like I've been wanting to play Horizon probably since it came out, but I didn't have a PS4, and Breath of the Wild, to me, is the better game based on what I've saw in trailers. I've watched comparison videos of Breath of the Wild and Horizon, and there's just like the little details that don't exist in Horizon that make Breath of the Wild that much better, in my view. Like being able to like climb everything, and being able to like pick your arrow back up out of the tree, and just like little stuff like that, like really made, like, I don't know, it just makes the world of difference.
Something so engrossing about Breath of the Wild, it just like sucks you in.
Yeah, but Horizon 2 is like basically taking all the stuff that Breath of the Wild had, and they're putting it in. So from what we've seen in the sneak peek of that, so that'll be cool. That'd be cool for sure. So I am looking forward to playing that game. And that's probably the most excited game I'm, just to be able to have access to it. God of War will be interesting because
that was a really great game.
I played the remastered God of War for PS3, and it was fun. Like, I enjoyed it, but then I got to some part where like you had to like walk across rafters, and dude, the controls were so bad. Like, I don't know, it just like it was so sensitive. I was falling off constantly. I got so irritated. I thought I was gonna like smash my controller.
So I'll say this new God of War.
I heard it's great.
It's very different than what God of War used to be.
Yeah.
Like, the old God of War was more almost kind of like a hack and slash kind of arcadey adventure in a way.
It's hard, dude. When you get to like the bosses, I had to fight some like Hydra, and it kicked my ass. The first one, it's so hard.
But this new God of War is much more like, I don't know, more like your traditional kind of adventure game. It's not so much. It feels more grounded in a way, that like the combat is more thoughtful than just like slashing randomly. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a really good game.
Yeah. So I mean, those are definitely like the big ones. On the PS Collection, real quick, like I'm gonna go through my list real quick, and you can talk about yours.
Okay.
Just because I've got a lot that I'm excited for.
You have a lot. Yeah.
So God of War is on that list, which is awesome. I kind of always wanted to check out Last Guardian. I thought it looked cool.
Yeah, it was a cool game.
I've never played.
It's not perfect.
I've never played
fun.
the Infamous games, so I've heard those are fun. So I'm gonna check that out. We talked earlier about like I should probably jump into a Final Fantasy, and since Final Fantasy 15 is on there, I'll probably check that out.
Same boat as you. Yeah.
And Arkham
I'm
Knight.
at least interested to try it.
And Arkham Knight as well. Like, I've heard those games are just really, really good. So, and I think another big one here is the Resident Evil 7. I've had that on my Steam wish list forever, and I get emails for it constantly, and I'm like, do I want to spend the $10 on it? And it's like, it's $10, it's whatever. But like, I'm just like, am I gonna play it? But if it's here and it's free, I'll play it. But I think what makes me bitter about that game is that I want to play it in VR, and it never came to Oculus, which is
maybe I can loan you my VR headset.
Yeah, maybe if it works for VR, if VR is supported on the PS5.
Yeah, they didn't really answer that question.
They haven't talked about any of that.
Yeah.
So, but as far as PS5 game, I'm interested to check out Astrobot's Playground. Is that what it is?
Yes, that'll actually be included on the system.
Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah. Definitely interested in checking that out.
I think that's going to be kind of a fun surprise hit on the game system, because it's supposed to almost be like a tech demo that shows off the controller and like all the cool features and stuff with it. And I love games like that that just like fully push the ideas of a like technology,
like Wii Sports. Yeah.
So and Astrobot's VR was amazing.
Yeah,
so
that's what I've heard.
I can only imagine like the developers for this game will have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you're looking forward to playing that's actually next gen, or?
Well, nothing that is exclusively PS5 yet.
Yeah.
Which is like, why am I picking this up?
Console hype.
Honestly, I maybe a little, but I'm more in the mindset that I have like an original PS4. Like, I have never upgraded it since then, so I'm kind of thinking the PS5 as my like PS4 Pro, like Pro Plus. I don't know. It's like it's like finally upgrading.
It's almost the same price as a PS4 Pro when it came out. The PS4 Pro is $400, so
yeah. So I skipped that, and I'm ready to kind of like upgrade this. And honestly, the game I'm looking forward to most is Cyberpunk 2077, and I know they're gonna give a free upgrade to if you buy the PS4 game, so that I can play on PS5 like better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my PS5 game right there.
There you go.
And of course, Astrobot's. I'm same boat as you, and I am inclined once Kena Bridge of Spirits comes out. I think that's going to be early next year. That's that almost like Pixar looking game that's from the same people who did that Majora's Mask cinematic. It just looks really good. And then there are a handful of PlayStation Plus games, collection games that I'm inclined to try out. Like I never played Persona.
Yeah, I never played Persona either, so I don't know if it's.
I kind of try it. As I was mentioning earlier, Monster Hunter World, I kind of want to give it another shot, especially if it's free. And I've heard World was really fun, so and I'm telling you, you should play if we don't stream it in October Until Dawn, and then also Detroit Become Human. Those games are awesome.
Cool, man. Yeah, I've heard good things about like Bloodborne too, and like most of these games I've heard of, and they're all really good. Like Battlefield 1, like I'm not a big like shooter game, but like I remember like the original Battlefields, and like when Battlefield 1 came out, I thought it looked really cool for what it is, but it's just not my type of game anymore really. But everything on here is pretty much a killer hit from what I've heard over the years. I just never had a PS4 to play, so.
And now we're gonna have all the games in the world to play, and just gotta find the time.
That's gonna be my problem. So, but I guess that wraps up today's podcast. We try to get this out. Hopefully, we get some more news soon, but we'll definitely have that.
The Tokyo Game Show.
Tokyo Game Show. So it's definitely time to get this done before. I mean, if we're running an hour and 48 minutes right now. We're gonna be running a lot longer.
This is gonna take me a while to edit and get on YouTube.
So, all right. Well, check out our channel. I actually just started a Twitch channel for us this week. I don't know how much we're gonna use that, but I'm gonna try to get them both synced together because we have been streaming. Patrick's been streaming a lot. We streamed a little bit this weekend. I would like to do more of that. I thought that was cool. Just even if it's just Patrick and I playing our own games, just hanging out talking, we can
gonna double the stream and double the fun.
Double mint gum. So, but I want to do more of that. I think it was fun. It reminds me, like I said to Patrick on the last stream, it just reminds me of like being in school and just hanging out with my friends and playing games. Even if we're not playing together, we're just hanging out. So. Why not stream that with the world and see what other people think or care about? So.
We're gonna be doing it anyways.
Yep. So yeah, look forward to that. Check out the Twitch channel. It's a Cuckoo Attack Podcast as well on YouTube. So until then, we will see you when the next news is dropped. And as always,
happy gaming, everybody.
See you guys later.